We're talking Roxborough Park, y'all, and right now I'm in a commercial space, but it's pretty much the only commercial space, so that's not what this place is about. Wanted to give you a peek and at least show you that this place exists. And before we show you around an absolutely beautiful spot, Roxborough Park, let's go. How's it going, my friends? My name is Jesse Lynch, and I work with the hardest working real estate team in the game. We're called Welcome to Denver, and you can check out our website, welcometodenver.co, as in Colorado. But this YouTube channel, we're trying to put it here. It's here ultimately for you as a resource through the whole sort of relocation process to help you find a place to land, a place to call home here in Denver, in the Front Range of Colorado, I suppose in Colorado in general. And that's ultimately whether you are buying a house for the first time or relocating here from a different city, state, country, planet, dimension, realm, whatever it is. First time home buyers, relocations, that's what we focus on, that's what we specialize in, and that's what we do better than anybody else. So if any of that appeals to you, then do me a favor, do yourself a favor, subscribe to this channel and click that little bell to get notified so you can see when we put these videos out, which, by the way, best videos anywhere on the internet about living in Colorado. And I say this every video, but you know that I mean it. If you're thinking about moving to Denver, or you already live here and you're trying to buy a house or get any kind of real estate thing done, then get a hold of us and we will crush it for you. You can go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in like 30 seconds or less, or you can just shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same inbox, so totally up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do. Know what I mean? Let's get the show on the road. Let's get you here. Speaking of getting the show on the road, let's get the show on the road. Roxborough Park, a beautiful spot. This is just a stunning little neighborhood park that has, I mean, crazy views, stupid views, dare I say. All right, let's go for a drive. All right, y'all, right now I'm at Arrowhead Golf Club, which is truly, truly beautiful. And this community here is guarded, right? So there's like a security checkpoint to get into the community and to get to the golf club. That is why I am just hanging out right here. But again, it's gonna be one of these situations where it's difficult to see. But the rock formations in this Arrowhead Golf Club are unreal. It is gorgeous to look at and situated just so beautifully here in Roxborough Park. And Roxborough Park is probably about 40-45 minutes from Denver proper, in very far sort of southwest corner of debatably even the metro, right? It's far enough out that you could definitely argue that it's not within the Denver metro. You're also 60 minutes to the airport, 50-60 minutes to the airport. So it is quite removed from Denver and honestly quite exclusive all throughout. The population here is right around 10,000 people, and it's ranked the 5th best suburb to buy a house in all of Colorado, according to niche.com. Also 21st best suburb to live in Colorado, according to niche.com. When I think about Roxborough Park, I think about private communities, gated communities, golf courses, beautiful rock formations, that it's far away, and I think about epic houses, like truly epic houses. There's one community that we can't go in without, you know, like an actual house to visit, but we did get some drone footage of it, and some of the most stunning homes in Colorado are in that community. The schools that serve Roxborough Park are Douglas County School District schools, which overall that gets an A-. The schools here specifically are kind of as follow. Thunder Ridge High School, which by the way, may be coolest name for a high school. Thunder Ridge High School, that gets an A according to niche.com, and that serves all of Roxborough Park. And then there are sort of two elementary schools. Roxborough Intermediate, that serves grades 3 through 6, and then Roxborough Elementary, that serves pre-K through 2nd grade. Both of those get a B respectively. One thing I do want to dial back, I think about epic homes, I think about gated communities, but there is a pretty good amount of housing stock and neighborhoods here that aren't quite so elevated, right? There is a decent collection and decent amount of neighborhoods that are actually more modest, but modestly priced, but still quite beautiful. One of these gated communities, one of these sort of guarded communities, sure, those are gonna be very expensive, 2 million plus, maybe right around here. It could be a little bit cheaper, but still 1.2 million plus. And so the median sale price of Roxborough Park, it's a little bit convoluted to me. The number you'll see is like 550,000. And that's like the barrier for entry. So I can't really parse out why that's the stat that's online. I would say 550 is about as low as you can possibly buy a house in Roxborough Park. And so I could be wrong, but I think the median is considerably higher than that. Again, the info on that is just somewhat obscured. And it could be because once somebody buys one of these very big, very impressive homes, that they don't sell it very often. So maybe the velocity of money in the higher price points is lower. And so maybe the cheaper homes, closer to the $500,000-$600,000 mark, maybe those trade more often. And so the median is brought down by that. I don't totally know. It's a little bit confusing to look at, but nonetheless, we think probably barrier for entry is closer to 5, like to find any single family home here at all. So it seems like obviously median is going to be higher than that. 4% of the people who live here rent the home they live in, 96% own. It very much feels that way as a community. It's also so far away from Denver that it doesn't really seem, you know, as an investor, I don't know that I would be focusing on a place like this to buy a rental property. And again, there's a big range of houses here. The cheapest home on the market right now is $400,000, and I'll be honest, that's kind of like a scrape, right? You might be able to find a really nice townhome for close to 500 and a pretty nice home for in the 500s. But if you have an impressive budget, if your budget is north of 1 million, north of 2 million, there are some absolutely beautiful homes here. So let's go for a drive, show you around a little bit. I'm gonna hop over somewhere else, hopefully not a gated community, and we'll talk through pros and cons of living in Roxborough Park. I'm at Roxborough State Park. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the next section. This part was so beautiful that I thought I would do this part also, but I did the other part first, so things might feel a little bit out of order, but it's all good. This place is just so cool. I feel like I'm in the land of the lost right now. Shout out if you remember that show or movie, not the movie, the show. But man, it is beautiful, and it's the namesake of this place, so hey, here we are, we're talking about it. I think it has just so much to do with the appeal of the actual town of Roxborough Park. But let's talk through the pros and cons of living here in Roxborough Park. So pros, you have, I mean, first of all, opportunity for an epic home, right? You know I love saying that, but if you have a really high budget and you're looking for like that truly special Colorado dream home with just amazing views, I mean, you can have mountain views and downtown views here. It's kind of crazy. All right, people walk by. I think what I was saying was, if you are looking for and have a budget for a truly epic Colorado dream home, this is a really good spot. The topography here is beautiful, which I think we'll say that's the next pro. Gorgeous, gorgeous geography. Like, it's some of the most like truly prehistoric looking rock formations I think you'll ever find, other than maybe the Flatirons in Boulder. But it's beautiful, and even beyond like the big epic, I mean, look at these guys. You see these guys? See those guys? Beyond even this, you know, there's great little park spaces, little municipal parks all throughout Roxborough Park, and I'm sure the gated communities have them as well. Another pro, naturally, you have very good schools. Not top 5, you know, not the absolute like top notch in the country, but still really good schools, undeniably good schools. And I would argue that even though I just talked about how you could have an epic home, and if you're looking for that, then this is a really good spot, there's also really affordable options compared to the Denver median. So for a pretty new house, right? Roxborough Park, on the whole, I mean, obviously this Roxborough Park, state park, has existed for a very long time. The city, the town of Roxborough Park has not, you know. It's all, most of the homes in Roxborough Park are relatively new. So when you're talking, you know, a single family home for 500, 600,000, that's probably a pretty new house, right? In a pretty new development with new infrastructure. It's undeniable that a newer home is going to have, you know, fewer headaches, unless you buy a lemon from a bad builder. Don't do that. Work with us and we'll help you avoid that. So let's scoot over to cons. And the cons are a little hard to find, except that you don't have really any amenities, right? You have a Safeway, you have like a one section of commercial. Aside from that, you're going somewhere else and nothing is really that close. You're probably, other than that little commercial nook, if you will, of Roxborough Park, you're probably 15 minutes to most of your other errands. And speaking of being far from things, I think that's like the biggest con, and the reason that most people are like would count Roxborough Park out, which is that you're very far from Denver. If you're commuting to Denver, that's a haul. Like, it's a long time and a lot of miles on your vehicle every day or however often. If you have a hybrid model, then it could be great. Maybe you go into the office once or twice a week, but you want this removed peacefulness. Again, I mean, I just gotta let y'all see it. But if you want that removed peacefulness, don't have to go to Denver all that often, I could see that being a pretty doable sort of situation. And I honestly think that other than the distance, if this place was really close to Denver, it would be the most expensive place in Denver. I think that's like undeniable. It would for sure be Boulder prices, if not, you know, more if it was closer to Denver. Yeah, my God. So that's, I mean, that's all I can think of pros and cons. I'm gonna actually, after this, because I already did it, like I said earlier, I'm gonna head over there. I'm gonna talk through some spots that you might want to consider if you like what you see here. All right, right now I'm in Roxborough State Park, the namesake of the town and or city of Roxborough Park. This place is beautiful and these rock formations are really something else. They're basically the same rock formations that were in the Arrowhead Golf Course or Golf Club earlier. It's just a sort of a continuation of those. And this is a pretty pristine state park, just like immaculate. And again, the topography and the rock formations are something to behold. If you watch this channel, you know that we have a section we call our For Fans of section, which is to say, if you like what you see here, here are some other options for you to consider. But before I dive into that, I would just like to say that if you are thinking about moving out to Denver, if you already live here and you're trying to buy a house, get a hold of us and we will crush it for you. Nobody will work harder for you than we will. You can go to our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there that you can fill out in 30 seconds or less, or you can shoot us an email directly to info@welcometodenver.co. They lead to the same inbox, so totally up to you how you do it. We just ask that you do and look forward to it. So let's dive in to the For Fans of section. This is an interesting spot, right? there is nothing just like this. There's not anything where you're like, well, that's the obvious one. But there are several that have a lot in common. And actually the first one that comes to mind is Castle Pines. And Castle Pines is beautiful, huge homes, huge lots, a lot of really outstanding views on those homes, as well as really, really highly rated schools. Not to mention also like equally sparse when it comes to suburban conveniences. The next one that comes to mind is Castle Rock, but mostly geographically. I think Castle Rock feels a lot different. It doesn't feel quite as, exclusive or high end, but it is still beautiful. But if you're interested in being very far south, basically between Denver and Colorado Springs, Castle Rock is also a really good choice. There's also some beautiful rock formations like Castle Rock in Castle Rock. Then we recently did a video on the Pinery. And the Pinery, it has a lot in common with Roxborough Park in that it's far out, it's quite removed from the rest of the metro. And while fundamentally there are 0 suburban conveniences in the Pinery, there's more here, but still not a ton. And it's geographically beautiful. However, it's on basically the eastern edge of the Denver metro. Again, debatably even not in the Denver metro. And if you like the idea of the Pinery, but maybe a little closer into the city, Parker's a really good option. I think Parker's a very nice spot, and still far enough out of the metro that it's, really, really chill like this, but a lot more going on in terms of conveniences. Then another one, which is more of a mountain town. And the mountain town makes sense because it's kind of far away. It's actually closer than this, and has a lot of that geographic beauty. And that is Morrison. Morrison is just to the south of Golden. Has a just like total adorable like downtown, historic downtown that just feels so much like a mountain town. It's really, really cute. And then the last, and this may be mostly because of the rock formations and the topography and all that, but it's Boulder. Boulder is scenic, it's beautiful, it's high end, and I guess more complete, much closer to a city than this. This is the sort of very rural high-end option, whereas Boulder is more of like the living in the city, still high-end option. I hope you can see some of these rock formations behind me, and I know we're gonna get a lot of this in the B-roll, so I'm not sweating it too bad. But gosh, it's really, really pretty. Reminds me of the Flatirons of Boulder. Reminds me a little bit of Garden of the Gods if you've been there. But yeah, really, really something worth checking out, and I don't think it gets the hype it deserves. But anyhow, that's it for this video. I hope it's been helpful. As always, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.